Hello, I'm Simulator Deck and welcome back to Trainz, part of the I Choose You Train Simulator playlist and also a part of Workshop Wednesday here on Simulator Deck. Now, since the last time I did an episode in real time, it's probably been 4 or 5 days of solid work to get to this point. We're going from what I used to call Lamberley up towards the start of the map where we first started. I've made a whole heap of changes. It's taken me probably 40 hours to get to this point. Not going to go south of here this stage towards Donnybrook because there's some more track work to be done there, but I am learning lessons as we go, and I'll talk about that as we go. So this station was called Lamberley. It's now called Wallarobba. Sorry, no, not Wallarobba. That's the next one. This is Wirragullah. And Wirragullah is a very small station on the Hunter line between Dungog and Maitland and Talara. And so I thought that I would name some stations after short platforms on the Newcastle Central Coast and also the Hunter lines. So this is Wirragullah. So been busy putting in some track work. That's not exactly smooth, so I will show you a couple of things that I have learnt. So if I select a bit of track that I want, and then if I can smooth it out a little bit so it looks like it's less bumpy, and there's a lot of track that looks even worse than this south of here, but you do it in several spots. You can several spots along here that you can do it. It also changes some of the scenery outside as well. This is, of course, or I shouldn't say of course because some people wouldn't know, this is the Donnybrook map on Trainz, and I've heavily modified it, which you're allowed to do. Now that's put Wirragullah's station sign back at ground level, so it does all these sort of stuff like smoothing out the scenery. So that's Wirragullah. I will briefly save that, but that was just to give you an example. That was just to give you a brief example of some of the work that I've had to do. I've experimented using 1 track at a time, 2, 3, 4 tracks at a time. 1 track at a time seems to be working best for me at the moment. And we've got a signal that I need to slightly move now. You do one thing and there's a whole heap of other things that you need to do. So anyway, so we've saved that. I'm going to go back into driver's mode. What we're going to do, I have rebuilt a significant section. So we're going to take a track machine train through here and also the AK track recording cars through, and we're going to see how they go. These are the track recorder cars. Sorry, no, these are the track machines. So various track machines here. We're just going to give it a run through first, and then after that we're going to run the track recording cars. You will now notice an SSR C-Class, C500 class at either end. Now this Transcontinental Simulations managed to get onto their Discord and download some free payware quality models, including the former Victorian C-Class, C501 to C510. So we've got SSR Loco C504 on what will be the back. And on the front, we've got C503. So that train will go through second. I will get these two trains going. I'll run the track machine first, and then we'll run the AK cars after that. So as I said, this is probably 40 hours of work in simulator time. Now some of it has been trial and error, seeing what works the best. So we're just going to run at low speed to start with. I want to get through the first set of points at least. Now at this stage I'm not too concerned about, actually I did take the set of points out. I'm not concerned about point work at this stage. I'm definitely going to have to move that signal though. I'm definitely going to have to move that signal, and this is one of the advantages of just being able to go over to driver's mode and go, you know what, I need to move that signal so it's not as close. Being on a straight bit would help. So if there's any glaring things like that, I'm going to stop and fix it. But there are other things that I obviously need to work on. There's a lot of so moving that signal slightly has helped. May need to make that that curve a little bit bigger. So I'll just follow the train for the moment. So I got clear signals coming up. Let the track machine just go past the AK cars. So I'm just going to go through at slow speed to start with. That signal's in a good spot compared to the other one. And then we'll make sure that the train gets through this first set of points. So we're only doing this at slow speed at the moment. Now at the moment I'm only concentrating on the one line. There's no freight trains running at the moment. There's no passenger trains running at the moment. But if this test works successfully, I'll be able to at least run some. So we've got through that set of points. They're manually operated at the moment. So what I'll start to do now is try some different cameras. I've installed a whole heap of new cameras that we should start to see shortly. So there will be some changes to that freight line that we can see that we've accidentally switched to that camera. May need to actually move that camera, possibly. So to move the camera, you go back into surveyor mode. In theory, you go back to surveyor's mode. You should be able to go back there. What camera am I on at the moment? I'm inside. I need to fly around and see the actual camera. Possibly this camera here. So if we select it, if we can select it, that'd be good. Alright, so if we have a look at the camera, I'm going to check its position and its height. We may need to lower the height. So I'll lower the height to 5 meters. Actually, this makes no sense because it's not this. It's delivered to me to somewhere where I'm. Oh, hang on. No, that's right. Well, that's the right. Well, that's. Hang on. This is the camera here that we were looking at. Not sure why it picked. Why it picked this one. And why I can't select it now. It appears to be nowhere near where I actually am. So I don't even know why it's gone to that camera actually. Oh, hang on. Okay, I may need to find the camera and just delete it. So what you can do, you can just go to your list of assets, and I can just type in cam for camera. I'll pick a new one, and then you can actually preview it, and that will give you up and down. That will give you some idea of what the camera you've just set up will look like. That's cool. We'll save that. Obviously, this is a work in progress. So we'll save again. I just couldn't figure out where I was in relation to where the train was. So this is a bit of trial and error at this point. Working. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to work on this section. Some of the dips. That's why we're only going at slow speed. You can see the dips. I really thought that I'd straighten that section of track up. So what we'll do, we'll let the track machines go over that section. We'll stop the train, and then I'll do some leveling work. So we'll stop the train there, and we'll pause the simulation. Go back into surveyor mode, and we'll have a look at that track. Why are you not letting me? Why are you not letting me tilt around or anything? That's most odd. If in doubt, save again. Why am I stuck? I might be. Oh, for some reason I was still on the Ironside camera. So if we see the section of track we just went over there, look how bumpy it is. Because what can happen, yeah, look how bumpy that is. What can happen is that you work on another section of track and then it interferes with this section of track you're just in. So now if we select a bit of track each time, alright, select a bit of track, and then we'll just go, we'll just do some smoothing. Smooth ground under selected. Now it starts with smoothing directly under the tracks, and you think you got that pretty good, and it also does affect the track around you. And so this is one of the things that they can see in the, apart from the Mark 1 eyeball, one of the things that you can see from the machine, from the track machines, and also from the track recording cars which are behind us. So that looks better. That little bit looks already, and then look at that bump. It didn't look that bad from our camera position, but looking from here, it's woeful. So basically what we need to do is smooth out this hill. Now it might take a few goes to smooth the ground underneath so it's less see, it's starting to take effect now. Also what you can do, you can insert the spine, so that gives you an opportunity to work on a smaller section of track. So we can smooth this section first, which will take the other section with it anyway. What you also do have to be aware of is that sometimes it does separate the rails. So you can go through, and this is what I've done today, into 3-hour sessions, I think. You can go through it so many times, and then you think, oh, everything's good. And then when you get to a section, as we've just seen, it's like, no way, not letting another train go through that. We need to fix that, and we need to fix that now. And already, we can see that that section is no longer nowhere near as bad as it was. It's nowhere near as bad. It's a lot more natural. You are never going to have 100% level ground to work with. So now we can go up to here and we can start to do so what we can do, we can just do this section as well, and then I'll get the train to go back over it. Now the track machines can do this to a point. That's a lot better already. That's a lot better. Maybe this section here could do with a little bit more smoothing out. There are probably ways that I can do this quicker. I don't know how to do that yet. So that's a lot better. Now, a lot of this I've already done off camera. There were sections when I laid the track that you could actually see a gap between the ground and the sleepers. And we can't do any work, obviously, in that section because the train's there. So I will save that again. So since I've been recording, we're up to save E. Alright, we'll go back into driving mode. And we'll stop the train. See, there's a couple of sections that I could still do. That section immediately in front of the signal that the closest part of the track machine is about to hit. This section here could do with some work. It's probably a little bit more pronounced with the track machines. Alright, because we are in what they call a possession area, we can run the train backwards and forwards. There's supposed to be no trains, no passenger or freight trains in this area. So what we'll do, we'll smooth this bit out as well because it was pretty bad. It was nowhere near as bad as some of the other sections that we just saw the first time we ran over it. And what this will also do, here's a section where the ballast is slightly off the ground, so we can smooth that out. What this will also do, it will make it easier the next time that the next track that we put in, because a lot of this area will already have been done because of the efforts of the track machine. So that, I think, is save F. Alright, we'll go back, save that, go back to driver's mode. We'll stop the train. Probably two, because I'm looking at it at the moment in minute detail. Alright, so we'll watch in line sight, try and switch between the cameras for a bit. Because even watching from this distance, I will see if things are really obviously bad. Oh, I don't even know where that camera is. It's somewhere in the platform? I'll have a look at that in a moment. Alright, so while this is an interesting view, I do want to change it. So we'll go back into surveyor mode. And then try and figure out, because I have moved some of the, okay, so that camera there, what it probably just needs, that camera there. What it probably just needs, honestly, it probably just needs a little bit more height. At the moment, it is 16 meters off the ground, so we can change that to 27 meters off the ground. Go to plan G. So, and then we'll go back to driver's mode. That appears to be a lot better. We'll go to line side. That didn't do it. Alright, so we'll have a look at those couple of cameras around the station, around Wallarobba. I did put, this was the first platform that I actually put cameras in. So if we switch cameras for a moment, so I think we'll get rid of, why are you beeping at me? And I don't know why it's beeping at me. I'm in. So there was a camera down here. Maybe it wasn't, it hadn't, that camera's job hadn't finished yet, and so it registered. What I want to do is do one from up here. So we'll add a camera there. Alright, we'll save that. We'll go back into driver's mode. Unpause it. Now this station is Wallaroba, also named after a short platform on the Hunter line, one station south of Wirragullah. This platform I had originally called Irk Heights. Last time you were here there was only one platform, there's now two. Alright, yeah, might need to move that signal as well. Alright, so we'll go to surveyor mode. I'll change cameras. When I don't want it to change cameras on me, it doesn't change cameras on me. That signal's moved way too close. And sometimes you move one, you move the other. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So sometimes you think you're sweet, you've done everything, and then something happens and a signal moves. We will go back to our line side cameras. So the irony is now that a lot of these short platforms in real life, oh gee, what camera is that? I am going to have to go through and have a look at some of these cameras off camera, quite ironically. This one actually looks like it's under the rails. That sounds like an 81 class. Some of it I think is a height issue, not necessarily where I've put the camera. But after this episode, I think I will go back and, gee, I'm not liking that bend coming up. We'll stop the train there. Oh. Alright. So we'll go back into our fly camera. So we will move that signal to there. And this is what can happen, that you've laid some track. Last time you had a look here, it was good. You see it now and it's like, no, this is not good at all. Another thing you can do, which I haven't really done yet, is straighten the spine. And that can straighten what you've done, which is a thing I will have to do. But no amount of spine straightening would have fixed that problem. Alright. Sometimes working on a long length like that really helps. And then it might say, train too close. No, that is arguably a lot straighter than we just had it. So we'll save again. Back in the driver's mode. Unpause. Alright, we'll go back to our line side cameras. Some of the cameras are static, others move with the train. Do like the occasional elevated shot from a distance like this. It just gives you a different angle of the train passing through the scenery. One thing that I've done, by the way, and we'll see it a little bit later on, is that there's some areas that I'm basically reclaiming. Like you'd see some farmland and you think, oh, I don't want to steal Farmer Joe's land. Then again, this is my map now, and I'm going to do what I want on my map. Sorry, Farmer Joe. And as I go into things a bit more and learn how things work, I will learn things and learn how to make it less obvious that I've just run through Farmer Joe's wheat farm or corn farm or whatever Farmer Joe is farming. So at the moment the signalling is only set up in the one direction and only for around stations and around bridges and around points where other tracks will join. But so far so good. Now level crossings are incomplete. Both these ones with giveaway signs and also the ones a little bit closer to towns that are the track activated level crossings. I might have to put that one a little bit higher. I've certainly heavily increased the amount of cameras compared to what were on the original map. So the plan is now to reopen this section in the one direction at least. Maybe put in some crossing loops. I can do a bit of two-way running. But ultimately is to build we're going northbound at the moment, so to have another track southbound. Because one thing that you will notice if you remember previous episodes is that all through this area there was a big ballast embankment with the track on top, and sometimes you'd only have room for one track. But what we've done here, we've laid the sleepers and the ballast and the rails directly to the directly to the ground, and there's plenty of space for at least one more track in all areas. It did seem strange to have, like, for instance, a nice straight section like this to be only single track. So what this is in need of is to increase the capacity, upgrading the concrete sleepers, increasing the capacity in both directions, making the signalling sections a lot shorter, the ability to run trains in both directions without having to wait for single track sections, even though it is one big single track at the moment. Now, in the real world, I have no idea how long a project like this would take. Now, a lot of this is still trial and error. And a lot of it too is, oh, I wanted it to do this. This happened. Undo, 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 undo. Why did this happen? Oh, this might be another bumpy section. Wow, that's a low camera. Another improvement I've made is double colour light signals. Some of the signals seem really far away from the tracks. Uh-oh, this bit's going to be interesting. I didn't realise we were here so soon. That definitely sounds like an 81 class. Alright, need to change some things here. Alright, for some reason that signal's there. I don't know why these two signals are out here enjoying each other's company. Like I said, I checked all this and then we were on a train and whoops. Then we were on a train and this stuff happens. So maybe learning the big spiky thing, whatever that is, actually needs to be on the left-hand rail to give it a realistic look and feel. So we move that to there. So we need to get rid of this one for the moment till I can figure out why it's actually standing there. Oh, so that's supposed to be there. So this one, I don't know why that needs to be there. So what we definitely need to smooth out this section. I definitely need to save. And I definitely need to check the points. Alright, so we'll go back into driver's mode. We'll get the train Why are the points set that way? So for the moment, until we actually need that set of points, we'll just get rid of them. That will certainly help. Get rid of that. So what I also need to change, and I might do this off camera, is change... Oh, well, that's what happens sometimes. You select one signal to move it, and then before you know it, every other signal in that area moves. Alright, so new SOP, standard operating procedure. If we have a signal, it needs to come out further from the track than I had it. So we definitely need to work on this section. Now the whole idea of this section, I'll just zoom through and show you. Now if we go through the points here, what I'll do, I'll move, and the train's going to be too close there. If we go through the points in the reverse position, head towards the right, we head down towards the river. If we go straight like we are, we will head to where the original tunnel was. Now these signals are all out of whack too, and because they've all moved. So we'll take the advantage of possibly also removing that camera. So that's a thing added to my list that I wasn't expecting. Oh, now it's moved every signal again. So I am really trying just to move the one signal at a time. But sometimes, depending on how you click the mouse, and you need to be checking the other signals at the same time in that area. So yeah, it's moved every signal rather than just the one we actually want to move. So that signal's too far away from the tracks now and not sitting on the ground, which we can fix. There we go, that's more like it. That's it. Alright. So that signal No, just the one, please. Should go there. Oh, and those tracks have moved. That signal needs to move. That track has moved next to the station. Alright. So that's a little better. So what we'll do now, I will smooth this section. Now, if we continue towards the other track machines, that's where you may remember the tunnel being. Now, I wanted to extend the tunnel from a single track tunnel to a double track tunnel. I am still learning how to do that. So after trying various alternative routes, I've come up with an alternative route which may help. At some stage, I'll need to change the type of grass that's on the ground into something that's a little bit more smoother, or at least a smoother surface, so it doesn't look like the track needs mowing. So what we can do, I'll try that in a moment, and I'm not necessarily scared to try things on camera. That signal needs to be moved again. So basically, if I have that big, I was going to say something totally inappropriate. The big tall thing in line with the left-hand rail, I think that's where it basically needs to be. Rather than out a little bit. So if we move this one, and then if we move that one, and hopefully that one only, there we go. Again, doing this all by trial and error. That set of tracks needs to possibly be rebuilt. So instead of having Trainz go through the tunnel and having to rebuild the whole tunnel, I've just used an alternative route, blocked it off for now, put another station here called Cowan, which is a small 4-car platform on the Newcastle Central Coastline. I may not have smoothed this out because of the having the track machines on it. So what this is intended to be, this is one destination for the passenger trains. Alright, that's what I was going to do. So if I select a bit of track that looks like it needs mowing, and maybe it might not need that anymore. because I've moved the track. Oh no, this section here could use it. So we'll select it. And maybe it's a grass underneath. So maybe we have to change the... All right. Why don't we try some Australian grass? Oz dirt. Forest for Oz grass. We'll try that. Now what we can do... Oh, maybe it's going to do this whole area. Wasn't what I was expecting it to do. Oh, so what it's done, just by moving this circle around, it's made it a lot smoother, and it actually looks just like green grass, and it hasn't really affected the ballast or anything, so that's quite cool. So I can adjust the radius of that curve, so I can make it smaller. It gives me a little bit more control. The circle that you can see near the two signals, maybe if I adjust my screen a little bit, so near the two signals I can just move this around and I can make it all nice and green. So where I will use this to effect, now I was mentioning earlier, and that's just got rid of all the long grass, etc. Now if we follow this track up, and I'm going to have to do some work like that, signal's moved. So we'll concentrate on this, we'll just do this section and just show you the difference of what it was and what it is. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit. So just either side of the track, we're just making it a little bit more greener, except for where I went for a Farmer Joe's wheat field and the signal has moved some distance from the track again. So I hope it hasn't moved every single signal. I hope it hasn't moved every signal that I've placed today, because there's been a few of them. So Farmer Joe's farm looks like less of a farm now that I've driven through. So that's good to know. Yeah, all the signals have moved. So if I just keep running the grass through until these lines disappear, I will do a lot of this off camera. When I fix the signals, I think I need to concentrate on the area where I am at or from where the track machine is back. Concentrate on that first, including moving these signals, because there should be no reason why these signals have moved. So if I select this signal, and it's slightly easier at the moment because I know that I'm only usually putting the signals in the one location, and I'm going in the one direction. So if I have a look at this next one, no, that hasn't moved. Oops. Alright, so if we go back now, I can finish, we'll put that in my pick list. No, I didn't want to do that. There we go. So that will just improve the look of it. So it won't necessarily look like we're running through Farmer Joe's paddock anymore. Yeah, some of these signals have moved rather significantly. See, a whole heap of them just moved. So I'm hoping in this instance that if I go back, that one I'll leave there alone because it's for the other direction at the moment. But it can also be hard to tell that, oh, that's cracked. So I'm going to have to rebuild that track anyway. Trial and error is a wonderful thing, and you've seen great examples of it on this episode. Now these signals again have moved. See, they're all moving as a group. So if we So it's very hard sometimes to, and that one's moved. Like you select what you think you're selecting a single signal, and in that case I have. So I think if we go arrow through a left-hand rail, that's a good solution. We can get rid of that one. That signal is there associated with that track anyway. This one needs to go on the other side. See, and it's moved. Well, it's actually moved the three signals because it's just moved this one that I've just moved. So it can be very hard to make sure that you're not moving multiple signals incorrectly. So this one, and I want to make sure, I'm looking around, that I've only selected the one. Just like there, it's selected two. And it actually may have selected. It's not as if I don't know how to use a keyboard and mouse at this point. And yep, it is moved. Nothing else is selected. This one's tilted it around. No, it was supposed to go that way. But it was supposed to go to the left of the driver. And this is what can be very frustrating about. And this is me building on someone's map, and you are allowed to do this. And this is building on someone's map that they've taken, oh, God knows how many hours to Alright, did we move any others? Hopefully not. And we'll move it out slightly. There we go. So lots of work for me to do off camera. We did have a minor derailment. So what I will do, I will save that. That's 80k L to Z. So what I will do now is go back into driver's mode to finish the episode. We'll go back into driver's mode. And I will select the AK cars and we'll focus on them. So knowing what we know now, just a quick to start things off. I will have to do work off camera, which I'm not surprised about. So that moved about 4 signals at once. Alright. Alright, so we will go ahead and this will show you we will have a look and we'll see additional problems maybe. Maybe some additional problems that we haven't spotted yet, or things that have changed since the track machines came through. So the whole idea of these track vehicles, inspection vehicles, is to inspect the track with a whole heap of lasers and other gizmos that I don't understand. And oh no, we've lost our... So going through that turnout, we've lost the rest of our train. So actually what I might just do, junctions are a big thing. I'm going to driver's mode. We will find our C504. I hope I'll find C504. SSR. Oh, now it's gone into there we go. So we will reform our TC. Three cars on the AK train. Actually, I've got them in the wrong order. No, not that one. So the whole... So the whole idea, when you've got two locos at the front. I wanted to go into fly mode, not walk mode. See that they're all going through the points. Now it's gone into roaming camera mode and I didn't ask for that. Actually, what I'll do, so you can be in the middle of doing something. You can be in the middle of doing something and then all of a sudden it goes, oh, guess what? You want to go into the roaming camera. So we'll do this up here. Alright, now this car can be in the middle, 2384 and 82 and 83 on either side, because when they're not being hauled with a loco at either end, the whole idea is for somebody there to be able to see out the back. Like, yeah. Alright. SSRC. Add that to my pick list, which I thought that I'd already done. Did that? Oh, what did that do? Oh, that just added the whole consist. Which I'm not upset about. So on the back, we'll add C504. Oh, I must have done that wrong. And we'll spin it around. Only one C504. Alright. So we're cooking with gas again. Save as November. So the whole idea is this train moves through the country, mainly in ARTC area. It does visit some other operators as well. We'll go back into driver mode. Yeah, we definitely have to check that camera out at some stage. I'm not massively happy about that curve, judging on what I can see in front of me right now. So the way these this train is also designed is so that the people on board have sleeping sections as well. Definitely need to space out my cameras a bit, especially around Walla Robber. Definitely need to have a look at some of these cameras, but that's a job for future me off camera. So we're only going high speed. So what can happen with these locos, at the moment I've got it in a push-pull configuration. But if they're going into an area where they know they're just going from point A to point B and don't need to go into push-pull configuration, they'll just have the two locos at the front. I don't think I've seen any of the C-Class on this AK class inspection train for some time. It's usually a bulldog-nosed. I think the last time I saw it, it was CLF1 and CLF3. That's certainly what I was doing in game. So I may need to increase the radius of my curves. Definitely have to watch my positioning of my signals. And the positioning of my cameras. And also the radius of my junctions. As I've said before on previous episodes, I'm actually sure that there's not a bigger emphasis on actual pre-made turnouts. Level crossings is a thing for future me to do. So I think I definitely need to move my cameras further apart. I think the way I need to look at it is that if I was going out and taking photos or video of the trains, where would I be? Certainly some good steps, and already an improvement on what I've done. Still lots of work to do to be anywhere near ready to reopen for passengers. Maybe I need to find a curve template or something. Actually, before we go on this episode, I think I know I've said it before, but what I will do, I will show you the junction template, which I haven't followed. That will make the junctions more user-friendly. And I'll try and find a similar one for the curves and get started on that. Because there's one thing to do. Oh yeah, this looks super when you don't have a train running on it, but when you have a train running on it, and this is only 3 passenger carriages and 2 locos, sometimes it doesn't look super. And surprisingly, I haven't found a lot of preset curves and preset turnouts like you would in model railroading. In model railroading, or model railways, depending on where you are from in the world, you don't try and do every single thing with straight track and no turnouts. Oh, it's a bit dippy there. Oh, that's a lot dippy there. Oh, we might have a derailment if we keep on going there. We'll move the train up a bit. Okay, car, stop. Alright, that was very dippy. So we'll go back to surveyor mode, have a look at... oh, we're on that camera again, okay. Oh, because we were line side, okay. See, there we go. Now, I didn't have... Oh, we better not do it with the trainer on it. I don't remember having any dramas with the drag machines running over it, but oh, that was bad. Well, we might do is to insert the spine there, do some more work on this section. To the naked eye, it looks pretty smooth, possibly. So you may have to do it in a couple of different spots to get a bigger reduction. Right, so we'll move this section. Alright, so we'll smooth this section out. Because this is the first time that I've really run the cameras as well, that I've actually put in. Alright, so we'll get rid of that camera and the one there. Oh, there's about 3 cameras next to each other. So we'll put one up here. I can use my pick list for that. Trackside camera mounted there. We'll probably keep them a fixed camera actually. That's a pretty good view. So what we'll do, we'll get rid of... You'd think sometimes you're taking your camera away and you're actually adding to it. So we'll add one here. We'll preview it. Let's see, we might want to add a bit of height to that one. So that's 26 meters off the ground. We'll make it 37. Give us a bit more height. Remove. Why won't you let me do that one? Probably... I don't understand. so we'll move this one back. We'll preview it. That's a static camera. Which will be a good going away shot. What if I not roam? And certainly not walk. Now I do like the static level crossing shot. We'll preview that. See, I put it from all right. See, I don't want it all the way over there. Oh, then you think you've grabbed the camera and you've actually grabbed. Alright, probably don't want it that high for the shot that I'm trying to do. So we might change that to 17 meters rather than 37 and see how we go. Actually, I do want this camera closer. Camera's that? See, you pressed the wrong cursor's in the wrong spot at the wrong time. That's probably... Didn't want to go over there. And you can quite easily see how addictive this can get rather quickly. we'll save that as what we're only up to. Oscar. Alright, we'll go back to driving. I want to go to the train. We'll stop the train. We'll go back over the section that we just fixed. I think this might be a section before we... Because even that looks bumpy. So we'll stop the train there. So we'll smooth this a bit out as well. And I'll admit, I still don't know 100% what I'm doing. That. Alright, it does look better. While we're here, we'll get rid of that camera. And you can also change the rotation. There we go. That one looks to be more okay. And we'll get rid of this. Alright, save. What letter are we up to? Driver's mode. Alright, back to some line side cameras. On the next episode, to show you what this is actually capable of when there's people who know what they're doing, I'm going to go into the new model, or the later version, hopefully, of the ARTC South map, and might just learn some things just by watching other people do it. Are we still... Oh, it hasn't picked up the next onside camera yet, I don't think. Now that we've spaced them out a little bit in this section. So if you put it on chase... Oh, gee, I don't know what camera that is. That camera is obviously way too low. I'll have a look at these ones quite ironically off camera. Even if I just have to go through, delete my cameras and start again. I like that shot. Oh yeah, that's bumpy. Oh, that's bumpy for that level crossing. And there too. So we'll have a look. We're about to cross over a river. Or a small river. So we'll stop the train here when it gets on the bridge. And I'll save it for here. I'll stop the episode for now, and then I know that from here I'd need to do some serious work because that's where the train is. I've been Simulator Dirk, you've been wonderful. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Ta-ta and farewell.